in the rooms, thumbs up. We're good? We're good? Awesome. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all, even though it's a remote session. So thank you so much. My name is Dian Hartono. I am the PM lead on MSIX. I'm going to be joined by Harshada later on in the talk. She couldn't be here live in person, but she did record the majority of the talk for us. So I'm going to play her video in the middle. I'm also joined by another PM in our team called Naveen. And so he'll be joining me for the Q&A section. Sounds good? Sounds good. Got a thumbs up? I see you guys, so that's why I just want to like interact with it. Anyway, all right. So let's start with an agenda. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about the introduction, about MSIX, all its benefits, and it's for those of you who are beginning your journey with MSIX, as well as total experts of MSIX. I feel like it's an opportunity for us to ground ourselves in when we're talking about MSIX today. So I wanted to just set the stage there. And then I'm going to hand it over to Harshada, who's going to show us all the new features that we recently introduced for MSIX, as well as features that are in the MSIX packaging tool. I'll then end with closing remarks, and then we will have plenty of time for Q&A. Sounds good? Sounds good. Okay. So, Windows has had a lot, or supports a lot of installers, right? So anywhere from .setup.exe and various scripts that is the ability for you to install applications on Windows. We say that MSIX it takes the best from each of the installers and puts into one. So I always like to think about MSIX as the evolution of all of these installers, and it represents the modern deployment technology. So why have we been on this journey with MSIX? Well, we believe its benefits. The benefits include the following. We never want you to regret an installer. What that means is that the operating system knows what happens when you install an application, right? We do this because there is a declarative manifest that the device reads, right? And says like, okay, I know exactly where I'm putting stuff in the OS so that we can guarantee a clean uninstall. We also say that it is a disk space optimization technology. Again, this means that we are a user base install, so that let's say you have 2 users on your device, and let's say user 1 only wants to install the application, we'll only install it for that user. But no fear, if let's say user 2 wants to also install that same application, we won't duplicate the bits because we know what has already been installed, and so we'll just make sure that the second user has the appropriate files such that it can run successfully. So yeah, and then just want to also point out here, we do some network optimization. So for example, if you do an update, we will essentially read the last few bits such that we only download and install the Delta files. And so we also made MSIX be easily componentizable. So for example, you got your modification packages, your optional packages, so that essentially it's packaged in a way such that it's configurable. So I've talked about the benefits, I've set the stage. I am virtually going to hand it over to Harshada, who is going to talk about the feature updates and MSIX packaging tool.
Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great time at the AppManage event. I'm Harshada Kshirsagar. I work as a program manager.
Sorry, 1 second.
With Microsoft. Today, I'm here to share more about where we are at with MSIX. MSIX has been around since about 2018. We have been making a steady improvement in the platform and tooling ever since. Now, a lot of these improvements come from the feedbacks and feature requests we receive from customers and community. Today, I'll cover some, if not all, the new features we have added. I have some MSIX related feature highlights. We have added some new features in the GUI and CLI of MSIX packaging tool. And besides that, we also have invested in troubleshooting aspects. We want troubleshooting to be as less required as possible, and if at all needed, it to be less time consuming and smoother for the user. Let me begin by sharing some MSIX feature highlights. And the first one is MSIX persistent identity. You have to sign every MSIX application before you can install it. Even the certificate that you used for signing this application should be trusted on the machine you are installing the application on. Let's say you have been using this Contoso certificate for signing your applications. The publisher name on this certificate becomes part of the identity of your application. The hash of this publisher name becomes part of the package family name and package full name, which are important when it comes to app update cycle. Now let's say Fabricam acquired Contoso. So eventually they changed the name of the company and the certificate subject to Fabricam Contoso. Now, if you use this new certificate to sign the next version of your application, that application would be considered a different application altogether because it has a different identity. So this is how changing the publisher or certificate can break the update cycle of your application. In order to avoid this, you can use the feature MSIX persistent identity. It allows the package to persist its old package identity in the platform without having the need to sign with the old certificate. So when you are introducing a new certificate, the main thing you need to do is create an artifact to show the relationship between the old and the new certificate. The next feature I'm going to talk about is one of the most widely requested features from community, and that is grouping applications from the same MSIX under a folder in the start menu. You would know an MSIX application package can contain multiple applications. Even the manifest of an MSIX packaged application contains applications element, which means you can have multiple applications inside the same package. Each of these applications are the available entry points. Each of them will become an icon in the start menu. Now it is possible that these applications being packaged together are a part of a suite, and you may want to group them together in a folder for easier access to the user or better representation. So this goal of putting all the applications from an MSIX together in a folder on the start menu can be achieved using visual groups property of visual elements item. You would need at least 2 applications to be there inside your MSIX in order to use this. Start menu shortcuts is another most frequently requested features from community. Starting July 2022 release of MSIX packaging tool, you would see user level shortcuts would be supported. Desktop shortcuts or system level shortcuts or the shortcuts which are not targeting an executable would not work. Now let me dive deep into the improvements we have done in MSIX packaging tool. Most of you would know MSIX packaging tool is available freely for download on store. It is also available for offline download on our site. We have quarterly releases planned for MSIX packaging tool. If you are setting up a test environment or if you are trying a lab, you can use our Hyper-V Quick Create VM, which would have Windows 10 along with MSIX packaging tool installed on it. Let me start by talking about how MSIX packaging tool now can add detected fonts in the manifest. You would know an application can use a font only if that font is present on the device and available in the system font table. Earlier, if you packaged your application using MSIX packaging tool and your app installs some fonts, you would have seen you had to add these font entries manually in the manifest file. But starting the January 2022 release of MSIX packaging tool, it will take care of adding these font entries for you, and you don't have to do that manually. The next feature of MSIX packaging tool I want to talk about is capabilities. Capabilities basically enable your application to utilize some extra facilities of the hardware or operating system or some APIs. So MSIX packaging tool already had about 39 capabilities listed. Now we have added about 21 more capabilities into the list. So these newly added capabilities include some features we have made available in the recent past, or some of these capabilities were already available to be used manually in the manifest, but starting the October 2022 release of MSIX packaging tool, you would be able to add these capabilities from the GUI of MSIX packaging tool directly. Now let me dive deeper into how MSIX packaging tool can help you troubleshoot packaging and application. I believe some of you would be aware MSIX does not support packaging drivers. So far, if you have tried packaging an application that contains a driver, you would have observed MSIX packaging tool doesn't explicitly give you a heads up about the app containing a driver component. But starting the April release of MSIX packaging tool, you would receive an explicit warning before you move ahead with packaging. This will make you aware of the potential reasons why the app does not work as expected and hopefully save you some time and effort in troubleshooting. MSIX packaging tool shows this message in the user interface, and it will show this warning in the command line interface. The next feature I want to share is starting October release, MSIX packaging tool will enable integration of package support framework. For the benefit of those who don't know what package support framework is, let me share more details with the help of an example. Let's say you have an application which was working well as a Win32 application. But when you package that application as an MSIX, you observe there is some functionality loss. This loss could be mostly related to the application not behaving as required in the modern runtime environment. For example, the application was trying to write to the install directory, which is not supported. Now, the ideal thing in such kind of case could be to go back, make changes to the code. So in this case, you would make the application to write to the user data or app data folder based on the context. But a lot of times, we don't have access to the code to make such kind of changes. Like the application could be a legacy application and the code is no more available, or it is a third-party application. So package support framework is an open source kit that allows you to apply fixes to such kind of applications and enable them to run under the modern runtime environment without you having to make any changes to the code. So these are the steps you would normally perform to incorporate package support framework in your application. To begin with, you would detect the issue with the help of tools like Procmon. Based on your findings and the fix-up you want to use, you will customize your config.json file. You will unpack your MSIX. You will download the latest package support framework binaries from the NuGet package manager. Then you will add the relevant files based on the processor architecture of your application and the fix-up you want to use into the unpackaged folder. Next, you want to make changes to the manifest file. You'll make the start point to the psflauncher.exe. And finally, at the end, you will package this application. But starting the October release, all you need to do is detect the issue and customize the JSON file. Based on the content of the config.json file, MSIX packaging tool in the background will add the desired fixer files and PSF binaries into your application. It will also make required changes to your manifest file and create a package for you. So currently only MSIX packaging tools command line interface supports PSF integration. You will use MSIX packaging tool command and pass the config.json files path to the command. In the October release of MSIX packaging tool, file redirection fix-up, environment variable fix-up, Registry legacy fixup, electron fixup, and dynamic library fixup would be supported. Let me show you a quick demo of adding file redirection fixup using MSIX packaging tool CLI integration. So this is the Hyper-V Quick Create VM I'm using. It already has the MSIX packaging tool preview build installed that would release in a few days. This is the config.json we have created for the package support framework. We're basically incorporating file redirection fixup and a pre-launch script. So the command I'm using is basically going to take the template file for MSIX, template file for my employees application. So this template file usually gets created whenever you use the MSIX packaging tools GUI version. Besides that, it is going to take the config.json file and the script that I want to use as the start script or pre-launch script. So as I hit enter, the MSIX packaging tool in the background is going to run my installer. It is going to incorporate all the PSF related files and the file redirection fixup based on whatever I have mentioned in the config.json file. It is going to make relevant changes into the manifest file and create a package for us. Now it says it has created this package on desktop. So let's go and check that. Let me edit it with MSIX packaging tool. So if I get into the package folder, you would be able to see the config.json that we passed when we were running the command. That one is available. Besides that, we have the file redirection fixup because that was what was mentioned in my config.json. And the pre-launch script that I needed. And the rest of the PSF related files are incorporated. Another important change MSIX packaging tool does in this context is it makes the PSF launcher your first executable. This is an extremely important step because without this, the rest of the PSF would not work. And having this automated kind of reduces the overhead on you for having to open the manifest file and making these changes. So basically, this is how you could utilize the PSF integration through MSIX packaging tool CLI. Now let me wrap up the features and talk more about the MSIX partners. We understand tooling is important, and these partners provide additional tooling and support for MSIX development scenarios. Some of these partners are present in AppManagEvent, and we highly recommend you to attend their sessions as well and learn more about MSIX. If you are an aspiring partner or if your tools do support MSIX and want to collaborate with us, feel free to write to us and we would love to hear from you. So with that, I would like to thank you for attending this session. If you would like to learn more about MSIX, we have the MSIX documentation available at ak.ms/MSIX. If you want to reach us or want to share some feedback or you're facing some issues, you could reach us through the tech community, that is ak.ms/MSIX community. Thank you and I hope you have a great AppManagEvent.
Yay! I'm so excited. Yay! I know you guys aren't. I can't hear you clapping, but let's clap for Harshada. Yeah, I'm so happy she was able to record something for you all. I know she worked hard on creating these things up. And so this is what we shared was like new features, where we're at with the tool. But I also want to acknowledge like where we're heading, what's in store in the near future. So I got one more thing. I wanted to do that, okay? I got one more thing for you all, and I'm so glad that Naveen is here as well because we're both going to be talking. We can talk a little bit more about it in Q&A. But the thing that we wanted to introduce is what we call accelerators, and so these are this is going to be introduced in the MSIX packaging tool very soon. And it is essentially an enhancement in the packaging tool that eliminates manual steps. So it's very much similar to what package support framework does, or PSF fix-ups. We look at accelerators in the pre-validation and post-conversion aspects. So, for example, if we see that there are steps that you have to keep on doing in the before you go and package your applications, we can detect that and we will do it for you. And then in terms of post conversion, so a lot of like manual steps that we have identified that need to be done for certain applications, again, the tool can do that for you. And then a couple things to note about accelerators is that we do want this to be a community-driven experience. So if there are things that the community has seen or done, we do want to add that into the tooling. So like I said, this is coming soon, no date yet, but please, this is actually a call out. If you are not in the Insider MSIX Packaging Tool Insider program, you should, because you'll be the first ones to get them. And then with that, I want to end with this closing slide. So we're moving forward with MSIX, and we're constantly looking at unblocking top apps. So looking at features that will unblock top apps to be MSIX packaged. So whether that's from the enterprise as well as the developers, right? So we're working with critical ISVs to have them have their apps already be available as MSIX packages, so that the need to be repackaged is minimal. So we also, we work in the operating system, so we ensure that our packaging technology works great in all cases. That means in Windows. And as Harshada has alluded to, we're constantly looking at feedback. My team and Naveen's team, like we all look at your tech community posts. So I hope you guys don't feel ignored. So with that, I think it's time for Q&A. So yeah, we have plenty of time for Q&A now. So do you want to unmute the room?
Yeah. Okay, I unmuted the microphone over here. Here again. My suggestion is, are there people with questions in the room? Who would like to be the first? A pressing issue, a trouble? Yeah. Would you mind stepping forward to the camera so Rasheen can see you, and especially my mic from the laptop can pick up your question better, so I don't have to translate.
Thank you. My question is all the new stuff working on Windows 11 only, or also on the Windows 10?
There are Windows 11, and then a couple of them are available on Windows 10. And so in our documentation, we state what version of Windows it's available at.
Who's next? You can also shout out from the distance if you don't want to move forward. The new version of the release, you said it will be released soon. Can you be a little bit more specific on the soon, or will that be a Christmas surprise?
Naveen can correct me if I'm wrong because he's on the call. So you're talking about the MSIX packaging tool, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we release the MSIX packaging tool quarterly. So we just did our October release to Insider today, or sometime earlier this week, and so the next one is going to be in January. So it may or may not be a Christmas surprise. You never know, depending on whether you're an insider or not. Naveen, do you want to elaborate more, or did I capture it succinctly?
No, I think you covered it right, Dian. So the current October release is already in Insiders as of this week, and some of the upcoming features you'll see in Insiders pretty soon. And we're hoping to kind of get that delivered into production in the January release.
Also, you guys are the first. We haven't said this stuff publicly, so you are the first people to know.
We appreciate that. Any other questions? Yeah, you can just come forward so the microphone on my laptop can pick it up.
Not much of a question, but I created an issue on the GitHub repository for the package support framework. I could not get the environment variables fix up working, and I have not yet received the reply to the issue. I would appreciate it if you would take a look.
That's good. Yeah, that's Naveen, you got that note? Okay, great.
Yeah. They know the issue number you're referring to?
Yes, there's only 28 issues on the page.
Okay. And virus variables. Okay. Any other people want to put forward questions? Or remarks or positive feedback? How many of you use?
I guess one thing, because I know we did a poll, correct, Ewan? We did, like Harshada submitted a poll for this talk. So if you guys can fill it out, that'd be great.
Yeah, there's in the app a poll option. If you don't want to speak out loud, you can also always drop your individual issues, and they then will be sent over to the Microsoft team. How are we in time at the moment? We still have 50 minutes left. Tim, do you have a question? Okay. Maybe if you have one question, come on, let's challenge them. We have them online today. We have Tim Mengen. He did a talk on MSIX in the other venue, and he would probably like to say at least hello to you, and maybe he has a good question.
Hi, Tim.
Hi. Okay, so wave there, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
So I just want to say hello, because you and I have never met.
I
Because
know.
I haven't been at the campus in so long. So, I just wanted to say hi. But what we should talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I will say this is like so surreal because we haven't done any conference, or like we haven't done this in like a while. So thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for allowing us to talk here.
Okay, terrific. I guess I could ask one question, which is in the packaging tools, the new features you're talking about, those will be disableable. It looked like I actually have to ask for this stuff to get the PSF in. But I want to make sure that I at least eventually will be able to say, no, just create the package without the PSF. For those of us that would like to use different ways to get that in there, let's say.
Yep, that is right. Here,
Awesome.
including PSF is not mandatory.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see if there's no other questions. Oh, see, if you start closing the door, people come out of the woodwork. Go ahead.
Okay, some applications need integration with other pre-installed installations. Have MSIX blocks, and these applications are very good isolated. Will be there some options to deploy in Office and extension without deploy Office triple.
So are you so to paraphrase your question, are you asking about pre-installed applications or pre-requirements of applications, correct? So Naveen, you want to take this one, or I could also take it.
Go ahead, Dian.
Okay, so are you staying in the terms of repackaging? So in the repackaging, like essentially what you could do is you can ensure that all the prerequisites are installed on machines so that you can package it appropriately, so you get a successful package. Another thing is I do believe like PSF allows you to do like pre-installations, like, because essentially what you could do is have a script, right? Run first and then install your application. So yeah, so there are ways to do that.
You can always drop the question in the MSIX community on AKAMS, and then they go ahead,
Yeah, go for it.
drop in. Feel free, the camera's yours.
Hello, yeah, hi. You mentioned top applications. Is there a timeline when Office will be in an MSIX format?
Oh, absolutely. So I will say the statement has always been MSIX and Office are working together on a multi-phase journey to get them into MSIX package. We're still in that journey. It's in progress. In fact, like I'm the PM on it, so like I know. So yeah, it's a journey where we're very close, but nothing to report publicly yet.
Will be a surprise.
I already gave you one more. I already gave you one thing already today. So.
Okay. Are there any more questions from the floor, or else we will release you to your improvement of the MSIX platform? 5, 4, 3, 2, no questions? Yeah, okay. We'll thank you a lot for your remote presence with our session. We'll again ask for feedback in the poll in the app. If you have anything, drop it off. So it's a good payoff for you, lovely people, remote as well. And then hope to see you next year in person.
Yeah, for sure. Bye, everyone.
Thanks a lot for your presence.